What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's your sweet Zionist Prince Tal, the traveling clad, back here with another video from Israel. Today we're looking at the White House press secretary on the whole Gaza situation. Let's take a freaking look.
Two questions. One, the president yesterday used the word permanent for permanently resettle Palestinians. I hear you saying temporarily today. Is that a shift or a specific change that you want to highlight? And my second question is, yesterday he spoke about the U.S. owning Gaza.
Yeah,
Who owns
he did.
Gaza now, and how would the U.S. acquire it?
Well, Gaza is currently run by Iranian-backed terrorists in the Middle East, Hamas, who we all...
Karoline, leave it. Girl, you leave it alone, baby. What you talking about? I love it. Karoline, leave it. More like Karoline, love it. You know what I'm saying? Kind of love you, girl. What you talking about?
agree. I think everybody in the region agrees that can no longer stand. Just look at the events of October 7th and the events since. And the
Is it me or does she kind of look like Donald Trump?
president, again, is committed to rebuilding the region for all people who want to return to it once it is no longer a demolition site and it's a place where people can actually live and thrive in harmony, as he said last night. His words, not mine. Daniel.
So I want to address this also. I talked about this in yesterday's video because I made two amazing videos talking about this subject. Trump outlined actually a very interesting plan of kind of, you know, he said it in like incognito ways, but actually resettling Gaza as a international zone rather than making it an Israeli territory, which he clarified it is not going to be an Israeli territory, which, listen, I know within Israel that's already controversial because it's our soldiers who have fought and died on this for this land, and I totally understand the Israeli perspective. That's like, this should not be American land. An international zone seems like a really good compromise right now. And then maybe in the future there can be some conversations about how we make this a land for both Israelis and Palestinians to inhabit together. But at the moment, boosting the economics, but you got to get rid of the terrorists. You really have to get rid of the terrorists. Again, I said multiple times on this channel, I am not a fan of taking the Gazans out of Gaza. I want to live with them. But where's the alternative? They're not going to reform their behavior.
Permanent versus temporarily resettle?
The president has made it clear that they need to be temporarily relocated out of Gaza for the rebuilding of this effort. Again, it's a demolition site right now. It's not a livable place for any human being.
It's true.
And I think it's actually quite evil to suggest that people should live in such dire conditions. Daniel.
But that's what they do. That's what the Palestinians do because they have a lot of evil in them at the moment. Unfortunately, especially their leaders are insisting on the fact that they all stay there. And that is evil because you know what wouldn't be evil? If Jordan and Egypt fucking stepped up to the plate and took some Palestinians in the way they should. Their Arab brethren, their Muslim brethren, they should take them in, help house them, help them reform, help them step up into the future. But of course they wouldn't because Arabs hate Arabs more than they hate anybody else.
Today.
Thank you. On Gaza, the president has spent basically his entire public career criticizing foreign entanglements, nation building, sending American troops to fight abroad, particularly in the Middle East. This plan seems like it could ultimately involve all of those things. Can you explain this reversal and how building and owning Gaza squares with America First foreign policy?
I would reject the premise of your question that this forces the United States to be entangled in conflicts abroad. The president has not committed to putting boots on the ground in Gaza. He has also said that the United States is not going to pay for the rebuilding of Gaza. His administration is going to work with our partners in the region to reconstruct this region. And let me just take a step back here.
It's actually, I have to cut her off. Sorry, Caroline, leave it. I'm going to leave it alone for one moment. I like this girl. She's cool. She's sharp. Hopefully they don't replace her like they did the first 4 different spokespeople for Trump when he was president. It seems like Trump is really just trying to cut a deal, like a businessman. He's actually trying to just usher in a element of peace for the United States or peace in the Middle East, because that obviously helps the whole world. Get Russian, Iranian interests out of Gaza, out of the Palestinians' backyard, and maybe secure America a financial hub in the Middle East and maybe some sort of administrative zone in the Middle East. I'm not saying it's a perfect solution, okay? And I'm saying this to the American Jews who are watching. I say this to anybody who's watching. It's not a perfect solution, but it's the first time, I think Bibi said this in his speech, it's the first time a leader has come in and opened their fucking brain. It's a little creative. It's something new. It's a new conversation. And plus, everybody's forgetting the biggest plus side from this is the rhetoric to sow fear into the hearts of Arabs and Muslims. And yes, this is the language of the Middle East. This is how you need to behave. They will not become your friend or make peace with you by you saying, sorry, here's a white flag. Sorry, let's make peace. Let's do a land deal. It's not how it works in the Middle East, my love. You got to fight. You got to demean. You got to be mean. And so the reality is this rhetoric of potentially kicking out all the Gazans from Gaza, which is not going to happen. You know how scared they are right now? They're shaking in their boots. And that's what you need. Hamas was like willing to actually come to the table to talk now about what they do in the future. Because this, like, they don't want to leave. They don't want to go. They don't want to lose power. They want a future where they could keep sowing terror into the hearts of everybody in this region. So this is the correct rhetoric. You need to, even if it's not happening, you guys need to have patience. Paciencia, por favor. Habibi. Just wait a moment. Let the man work. Let Donald cook, baby. Let him cook.
Because this is an out-of-the-box idea. That's who President
Look
Trump
at that.
is.
I
That's
called
why
it.
the American people elected him. And his goal is lasting peace in the Middle East for all people in the region. And as I said in my opening remarks, we've had the same people pushing the same solutions to this problem for decades.
Our
And
leaders are a
it's
part of
been
that too, by the way.
made very
Our leaders in Israel. Bibi Netanyahu has been a prime part of that issue. I have to say as well. It's been an issue in Israel as well.
people pushing the same solutions to this problem for decades. And it's been made very clear to the president that the United States needs to be involved in this rebuilding effort to ensure stability in the region for all people. But that does not mean boots on the ground in Gaza. It does not mean American taxpayers will be funding this effort. It means Donald Trump, who is the best deal maker on the planet, is going to strike a deal with our partners in the region.
He did not rule out American troops in Gaza last night. Are you doing that now?
I am saying that the president has not committed to that just yet. He has not made that commitment, and you know that.
And on the foreign partners, the
It's like, hey, you know that, bitch.
The Egyptians, the Saudis have already panned this plan. What foreign partners, if any, have expressed any interest in being part of it?
Well, the president has said he's been...
The thing that Richard over here doesn't understand about the whole, none of the Saudi partners understand anything about this. You don't understand the Middle East, my friend. Sorry, you don't understand it. What the Arab Muslim leaders of the Middle East, and I want to call names out because I don't want to get blacklisted from their countries, what they do is on the forefront, because Arab Muslims are a bunch of fucking hypocrites, that if you show some interest in making peace with Israel, they lose all their marbles. They can't publicly tell you what's happening. It's all behind the scenes. They can't publicly say what's going on. Behind the scenes, they're shaking hands with Trump and doing back massages. On the forefront, they're all saying, "Fuck Israel! Israel's the devil! Israel's an apartheid genocide state." That's just how it is. If you don't want the overthrowing of the monarchy in whatever country, I'm not picking and pointing names, that's how it has to operate, Richard.
I am saying that the president has not committed to that just yet.
And
he has not made that commitment, and you know that.
You
On
know
the foreign
that.
partners, the Jordanians, the Egyptians, the Saudis have already panned this plan. What foreign partners, if any, have expressed any interest in being part of it?
Well, the president has said he's been socialing this idea for quite some time. He's been thinking about this. He said in his remarks last night, this was not a decision or an announcement that he takes lightly. And the president has already spoken to the president al-Sisi. In fact, that was his first foreign leader call. He's meeting with the King of Jordan, King Abdullah, next week. He spoke with the King of Bahrain. He spoke with the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia. And he has made it very clear, he's been very vocal, that he expects our partners in the region, particularly Egypt and Jordan, to accept Palestinian refugees temporarily so that we can rebuild their home. I'd like to show you some images of Gaza that were taken. Fox News aired this. I mean, that is, as they put it, in an apocalyptic scene in Gaza. This is an uninhabitable place for human beings. Do you really think that families can live their dream in a region that looks like this, with no running water, no electricity? And the special envoy to the president, Steve Witkoff, recently traveled to Gaza, as you all know. And he came back with images that he showed the president of the dire situation here. And the president made this decision with a humanitarian heart for all people in the region.
Y'all Palestinians fucked around. Y'all Palestinians fucked around, and now you finding out, baby. This did not work out in your favor. I'm sorry, just the rhetoric is crazy. I would never have imagined in a million years we'd be here right now. Honest to God. Honest to God, I never think there's even a reality to have this conversation. I really hope Palestinians understand how severely they fucked up. Supporting this terrorist group through your teeth, wanting to kill Jewish people. I know a lot of you have been brainwashed, unfortunately, but it doesn't excuse it. It doesn't excuse it. I'm sorry. Y'all fucked up. Tighten up, baby. Y'all need to change. I told you shit's gonna catch up with you. It's about time. It's catching up right now. You fucked around a lot, now you're in the finding out zone, and it's not fun. It's not fun to find out this stuff. This stuff has consequences. You can't just rape and molest and do the worst crimes against humanity and get off scot-free and then celebrate in the streets and get off scot-free. It's not gonna happen. I'm sorry. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you all. Let's keep an eye on the news and see what happens. I'm really interested to see where all this fuckery progresses. You know, you sometimes think in this industry, what I'm doing, the war's over, maybe there's going to be a downturn in the news. It just doesn't stop coming. It's every day, and especially with Trump, it's like, God damn, man, the cycle is every 5 seconds. Anyways, I love you guys very much. Thanks for watching. Please support my channel by joining the Patreon down below in the description or buying some merch at thetravelingclad.com, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye, class. If you believe in my content and want to support me, just know your help is needed. There's a bunch of great ways to support me, being PayPal, Buy Me a Coffee, or joining my Patreon community down below. Patreon is the best way to support my channel, and you'll get a bunch of cool perks depending on what tier you join. Another great way to support me is by buying my merchandise on thetravelingclat.com. I regularly drop new merch designs like this beautiful hat, or this amazing shirt, where you can support the channel and get something cool for yourself. I also have an amazing Discord community with people from all over the world. Thank you so much for your support.